everyone, it's Margie from the Westchester Children's Museum once again to do a really fun activity with you today. So today we're going to do something that combines art and science. So before we get started, I want to ask a couple questions. Have you ever been out on a hot summer day? Maybe you had an ice pop outside, and all of a sudden that ice pop started to drip all over you. What caused that ice pop to melt? You know what? It was the sun. The hot sun causes ice to melt. But is there anything else that can cause ice to melt besides the sun? Well, today we're going to find out. So we're going to make some fun, colorful ice sculptures. And guess what? You don't have to use your hands. You don't have to actually really touch the ice to make your sculptures. So let's get started with what you need to make your colorful ice sculptures. So what you need is just a few things from your kitchen. So the first thing that you need, and the most important thing you need, is actually some salt. Now you can use some regular iodized salt, or you can use some kosher salt. There are many different types of salt. Maybe you could even see which one works best. Then what you need is you're going to need some eyedroppers. You're going to need some containers to freeze some water overnight in, because you're going to use these frozen shapes to make your ice sculptures. So I have one in the form of a rectangle, and I have another that makes a really cool round ball. You're also going to need some food coloring or some watercolor paints. Now, liquid watercolor paints will work the best because you can use them just the way they are. But if you don't have those, what you can do is you can take some small cups, and what you can do is put a tablespoon of water in the cup, and then you can add a lot of your watercolors color to that water, and pick whatever colors you like. What combination of colors do you like together? And that is what you need. Lastly, you're going to need a good spot to do this, because this gets pretty messy because it's a lot of color and ice. So you need a pan, either a baking pan or some sort of pan or tray with sides. And the best thing to do is do it outside. But if it's a really, really hot day, you might have the sun melting your ice too. So that's what you need to get started. So let's get started and make some fun, colorful ice sculptures. Okay, so let's get ready to make our ice sculptures. So I have a large pan here that I put a piece of paper towel in too, because it might be fun to see all the colors in the paper towel as well. And then I froze a couple things overnight last night, so from Tupperware containers. So I have a rectangle, I have some regular ice cubes, and then I kind of have this round ball over here. Now I started to throw a little bit of salt on it already, but I'm going to pour more salt on top. And let's see what happens if I pour some more salt on top. We're actually going to use 2 kinds of salt, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to pour that. Oop. There we go. And it may take a couple minutes. And take a look. Okay, I see some things happening. It looks like some holes are being formed. Now let's see if we can really see it by putting some of the color on top. Now I used a watercolor palette, and I added a little bit of water and a cup. You can use an eyedropper if you'd like, Or you can just put food coloring on top, anything you like. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit of my colors on top very slowly, like I was using an eyedropper. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Now you should be able to see it just a little bit better. Let's put some green on. You can see what the ice is. Wow, look at that. The salt has really made some crevices in the rectangle. And there. And then we're gonna take our last color, and I'm just gonna put a drop. Okay, and you may have to give this a few minutes because it takes a little bit for the salt to get to work. So let's come back and look at this in a little bit. Happened and why? So why, when we added salt on top of the ice, did the ice melt faster? If you think about in wintertime, when it snows and the roads get all icy outside, what happens? The salt trucks come out and they lay salt down on the roads. So what does the salt do? The salt actually lowers the freezing point of the ice and causes it to melt. Now, the more salt that you add, the lower that freezing point will go and the more that ice will melt. So this is called freezing point depression. So what you can do with your sculptures, try adding more salt. You can even try using different types of salt. Will sugar work? You can even freeze some creatures, some little toys maybe you have at home, inside some of your ice shapes. And then you can uncover them with salt when you put the salt on top. So there's many things that you can do with ice and salt. So I hope you enjoyed this science and art activity. It's Margie from the Westchester Children's Museum. Thank you so much for joining us once again. Please come to our website. We have tons of programs and online resources for all of you and some fun things. Thank you so much. See you again soon.